narrative, we have artists, coders, and like every people who are involved.
Today I'm here with Anton. How are you doing today, Anton?
Hello, Bence. Thanks, I'm doing good. And you?
I'm doing well as well. It's just a super hot day here in Frankfurt, but we are here to talk about our upcoming event, Serpent Moon, and tell you a bit about our highlights for the event.
As you know, the Serpent Moon is coming, and probably it will be our biggest and longest event so far.
Yeah, and the event will also feature our brand new mechanics and systematic changes as well to progression. And we will also have a developer live stream later today, so make sure to tune into that for more information and to ask all your questions. But without further ado, let's dive into Serpent Moon. But before we dive into all the changes, let's talk about how these events are made. Could you tell us about that?
Basically, it's quite, long and interesting process between many different departments. So, like, let's say we have game design, we have live design, we have narrative, we have artists, coders, and, like, every people who are involved in the development. So, like, how it usually works is that, we came up with a, specific concept about the event, and, well, as you can see recently, we had this, moon theme, it started with the previous event. So, basically, the narrative came up with a concept, and then we developed that further with the live design and game design to basically cover all the parts regarding this event.
The community has been asking for new gameplay changes in our events. So could you tell us why we haven't changed anything so far and what we can expect from Serpent Moon?
The thing is that developing the whole event, it might seem as a, very easy thing to do, but in fact it requires a lot of people, just sit together and work together. So it's in fact, it's a very massive process. Sometimes we just have, other priorities or maybe other features to develop. So it's all about the team bandwidth and stuff. But we always considered our events as some kind of a playground or something where we can, experiment and try something out. So you could see that, from the live design perspective, maybe with the past events. Now we are finally at this point where we can, try and experiment maybe more with the gameplay changes as well as with the live design changes.
I'm really happy to hear that, and I'm sure the community will appreciate as well. But then could you tell us about the new gameplay changes in this event?
A lot of our players are already familiar with the concept that we had in a previous event where you basically had to, collect stuff and destroy this object. So with this event, I wouldn't say that it's completely different from that, but we added one very interesting feature in there that hopefully will change the gameplay perception and the way how people do play the game. Instead of these standard objects that people are used to destroy, we will have snake dance. So it's like snake baskets or something with snakes inside. Players will have to communicate or interact maybe with these snakes, and they have to approach them very carefully, just not to scare them, because if you approach them really fast, they work, somewhat similar to horses or maybe crows, so you need to do it, very, very sneaky, in a sneaky way.
So this snake basket sounds really cool and very interactive for the players, but could you also tell us how you actually earn points in this event?
As I mentioned, with this snake dance or snake baskets, basically you need to approach them and interact them with very carefully, because they actually can bite you and you can get poisoned. If you carefully approach them and interact with them, you can get event points as usual, but this poisonous effect, it's not the only gameplay thing that we have. So together with the event points, you also can get snake tokens.
Snake tokens? Okay, that sounds completely new. What can you do with the tokens that you get?
So with these snake tokens, basically you cannot just extract from the mission with them, because in this case you will just lose them. To get event points out of the snake tokens, you need to deliver them to the altars and sacrifice these snakes on this altar. These altars, they are placed very close to the boss compounds, boss layers. By doing this, we are trying to influence the core gameplay a little bit. Everything is designed in a way to kind of navigate people through the level towards the final goal. And basically the final goal for the game is to kill the boss, get the bounty, and extract from the mission. By collecting the snakes, basically our players will have to go towards the boss layer and potentially fight, meet other people.
It will be very fun to see how it changes the whole flow of the game and how it creates more encounters close to the boss compounds. But what about PvP? So how can players earn points by interacting with each other?
For example, if you are killed and another hunter tries to loot you, he will get not only event points, but also all the snakes that you collected before. By doing this, we also try to, spice up a little bit this interaction between players.
Yeah, this definitely encourages more PvP in general.
Absolutely.
To get all the tokens you can get.
Yes, that's true. But again, it's not the only two. So snake baskets and enemy hunters, they are not the only sources for event points. As usual, we will have our classic clues. And for killing bosses, for example, you also will get event points and snakes as well.
All the gameplay changes sound really fun, and I also can't wait to try them out myself. But for more detailed insight, please tune into our dev stream later, where we'll explain everything and show examples of each of these mechanics Anton just mentioned. But that's not the only things we changed with this event. We also overhauled the whole progression. So could you tell a bit about that, Anton, how that works this time?
So yeah, that's true. The gameplay is not the only thing that we changed. So for the first time ever in Hunt, we are introducing the Battle Pass system. And this thing is kind of new for us. We never tried that, but that's also kind of experiment for us. And we will see how it works. But basically, so to explain a little bit how it works, we will have two different progressions. One is free, another one is Gilded Path. Everyone can get all the rewards from the free progression for free, just by playing the game. So they collect event points, they progress. So at any point, like within your progression, for example, you are at level 10 in the progression, you can just purchase the Gilded Path access. And with this Gilded Path access, you can unlock everything that you already get from previous levels. So if you're on the level 10, you can get everything from level 1 to level 10, basically. That's how it works.
The Gilded Path Battle Pass system sounds very interesting, and we are excited to hear your feedback as well. As we mentioned, this is our biggest and longest event so far, so players will have actually 60 days to complete the progression, so you'll have a bunch of time during the summer to finish this event. And I also heard that there's a lot of rewards this time. Could you tell us about that?
Well, event will be, quite long, and it's actually our first take, so we're trying to go towards, season system or something like that. It's a little spoiler, but So yes, for this event, first of all, we will have two brand new weapons. The Sparks pistol and the Romero 77 Alamo. We will have more than 1,000 blood bonds in this progression. Also, we will have 9 new legendary items, like weapons and tools and consumables. So
a lot of new stuff to play around.
I think we never had that many, for the event. Never. And we will have the first evolving hunter. It has 4 different stages. You just play the game normally, you progress through the event to unlock these stages. And every stage of this hunter looks, more and more badass. It actually, corresponds a little bit with the story itself, because we also have a big story for this event. And, I know that we had the story in a previous event, so this story is kind of, follow the same idea, and probably will know more about, characters that you already know, and maybe about the Mr. Cherry himself.
I can already hint that the new hunter will be called Viper, and they are super cool, so it's gonna be a lot of fun to play with them and try them out in the bayou. And the story is gonna continue the story of the previous event, Traitor Moon, and Serpent Moon will be here. We'll have actually a lot of videos to show you guys explaining the story as well, so please check that out, and also within the game read the lore, because we have a lot of great stories to tell within Hunt. So now we have learned all about the gameplay changes, the progression changes in the Serpent Moon, but Hunt always has some sort of booster mechanics added to its events. So could you tell us about how these will work in Serpent Moon?
Yeah, so for this event, I mean, everyone who played our previous event, the Trader Moon, there's like not that many changes in terms of, boosters and stuff. So we will have our standard classic Cherries contract, and we will have 4 hunters, 4 legendary hunters to boost your event points even more. 2 of them will be DLC hunters. The first one would be the Witch Hunter from the They Came From Salem DLC, and another one would be the Prescient from the Prescient Night DLC, which will be released together with the event. But we also will have 2 Bloodborne hunters, and these 2 Bloodborne hunters would be the Night Seer, who was, I think, one of the first our Bloodborne content, right? In the game?
If I'm not wrong, I think he was released with the 1.0 release of the game.
Yeah. And the second one would be Hail Mary. So with these hunters, you will get some extra points. What else? We will have Signy trait. Also, like, some of our players are already familiar with that. It's just a special event trait which will be available only during the event, and it will also boost your event points and will increase the dark side range a little bit, so you will find the event objects a bit easier. And beside that, we will have 3 more event, not really event unique, but 3 traits that we usually have in game, but they will be boosted for the event. So these traits would be the Serpent trait, and it will help you to sacrifice your snakes to the altars, from the distance. The other one would be the Poison Sense, which will help you to track enemy hunters, poisoned enemy hunters from bigger distance. And the last one would be the Beast Face, and the Beast Face will help you to approach the snake dances, much faster and, maybe with a less chance of being poisoned.
I'm kind of seeing a theme here. All these traits are connected to the poison theme, so that is definitely very fitting for Serpent Moon. So we heard all about the Serpent Moon event now, how the progression works, about all the gameplay changes, all the cool rewards. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Actually, yes. So some of our players, they're already familiar with this overspill system. Basically, when you complete the event and you get all the rewards from the event, you could still play to get a bit more event points and get some $100 in return. So for this event, we decided to make this thing a little bit more challenging and maybe competitive. So we introduced this Cherries Hunter thing. Basically, it works as a leaderboard, and you need to earn event points to, get higher. So basically, there are different tops for players, like top 1, top 5, top 25, top 50, top 75. But depending on how many event points you have, you can be in a different top. So we're using this system to basically give some extra rewards for players, and it's in-game currency, like $100 and a little bit of blood bonds as well. But we deliberately didn't add any unique extra content there, because we still want to keep this leaderboard as just the optional thing for these people who maybe want to challenge themselves and challenge other people, and to be in this leaderboard. And
that sounds great. It's an extra layer of challenge for some people that are interested in after completing the event, of course. But with that being said, we came to the end of this video. Thank you, Anton, for joining me and explaining everything about the event. And make sure to leave your questions in the comments below and all your feedback as well. We'll have the dev stream coming up very soon, and we will try to answer as many questions as possible. We will also have a more in-depth insight for all the gameplay changes and mechanics as well, and you can take a closer look at the rewards too. Hello. And we will have a Q&A section at the very end too, where we can go into details about your questions as well. Again, Thank you, Anton.
Thank you, Bence.
Thank you, everyone, and see you in the bayou.
Not yet. Okay.
Hey everyone, hey chat, and welcome to our event developer live stream. Today I'm here with Dennis. Hey Dennis, how are you today?
Hi, nice to be here.
And Anton, how are you, Anton?
Hello, I'm good, thanks.
It was nice seeing you in a video. So as you guys see, we just released this video on all the social media platforms as well as YouTube. So make sure to rewatch it because it highlights a lot of the changes in the event. But today we are here to dive a bit more into it and break it down for you guys a bit more. So we will talk about how the event works, how you get points, look at all the legendaries, look at all the new weapons. Dennis will love that part. And yeah, exactly. And also take a look at the lore as well. So yeah, let's just start, guys, and let's see what we have today in store for you. So actually we have to go back a bit because I didn't roll back the presentation. So it's little spoilers, but yeah, let's start with the introduction first of all. So obviously, as I mentioned, the highlight video is available everywhere. Please watch it because it explains a lot. And we also mentioned in there that this is our actual biggest event, both in time and length, and both in content, in my opinion. A lot of rewards and a lot of new stuff to do. So it's gonna be very cool and very long. So you will have time during the summer to experience it and unlock everything in the progression. And sorry for the voice crack. And the duration is exactly from tomorrow, 4 p.m. CEST. So that's 2 p.m. UTC. Until the 26th of September, 9 p.m. So I think it's exactly 60 days, right, Anton? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 61 to be precise.
Oh, 61. So there's even an extra day. Yeah.
Yeah. We decided to take, one more day so people can finish that, playing on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be over on Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
That's awesome. So yeah, you still have the last Sunday to finish those last points. And as I said, it's going to be a long event, so it's going to be fun to see how it plays out. And I know all the console players out there always ask for this, but yes, the event is coming to all platforms on the same day. So tomorrow you will be able to play it on your PlayStation, Xbox, or PC at the same time. And yeah, that's the very, very big picture overview of the event. But let's talk about how we came to this event. So, Anton,
yeah, sure. So, it was requested long time ago, and we basically also, realized that we need to change something for this event. And if you watch that video, which was before the stream, I actually mentioned that. Well, we had some, sometimes limitations or something, bandwidth and stuff. But we always considered our events as a playground for us, so we could try, new mechanics and other stuff. And from time to time, you could see this small experiments here and there. Basically because these events, they are time limited. So we are somewhat free to try new things out. So for this event we prepared some new gameplay changes, and not only gameplay changes, actually there are quite a lot of changes for this event. So
yeah, almost everything is changed. I feel like it's crazy. I cannot wait to play it. But yeah, let's look at those changes then, starting with the rules for the event, so how people can actually earn the event points.
Yeah, first spoilers, we still have event points. So not everything has changed. So what we're doing with this event is basically still a similar thing of what we've done in the previous event. So you do certain activities in order to get your event points. However, what we do a little differently this time around is that we have a bit more activities you have to do in order to really get them. So the way this works is basically that we have something for exploration. We have a snake dance. We'll talk about them in a second, a little bit more in detail. We still have the objective that you can play, so if you run through it, do your clues, do your bosses, extract, you get certain event points for those activities as normal. And then there's obviously the third pillar, the PvP part as well, where if you engage with other players, you can get your points from that. However, and that's where the snakes come in. We also have altars in the game now. The altars is where you have to deliver the snakes. So around the snakes is a new mechanic where they don't translate directly into event points. You still get a few if you find them. However, by carrying these snakes around with you, so they're basically almost like an inventory item, they're part of your hunter for the moment. You can bring them to an altar. that is located in the map, and those will usually be around where the boss layers are. So it's kind of in the path for the player. And if you successfully sacrifice them at the altars, that's when you get additional points for them. However, first you need to get there, and other people might kill you, or you might kill other people, and then they can take the snakes that you've been carrying from you, or you take it from them. And that means there is like another competitive element in this whole thing, where you want to really make sure that at one point you go there, but maybe you don't want to be the first at that area. Maybe you want to go last. Maybe you want to wait it out. So there's all sorts of different strategies on how you can go about being tactical and making sure you kind of bank your snakes at the right time and don't become like a victim and get loaded and lose them all.
Exactly,
So
and I
that's
feel
the main
like
change.
I feel like all these points in this event, like starting from the snake dance to like the objectives to PvP, everything plays really nicely together with the point collection as well. So it's like a really good mix of PvP and while still playing the core loop of the game. So I think it's gonna be very, very fun to see how that actually plays out in the Bayou and how players change their playstyles as well. But yeah, let's take a look at the snake dance and the altars a bit more. So could you tell us about how the snake dance work?
Yeah, so the snake dance is basically our new pumpkins, our new other event objects that you can find. So you find them through exploration. They'll be scattered around the world in the compounds. Once you find them, you would think you can just go there and just get some snakes, right? But no, there's actually the snakes in there, and the snakes don't like being tampered with. So you have to be careful how you approach them. Basically, the snakes, you want to collect them, you want to harvest them, you want to grab them without actually getting bitten. And as such, there's a small little mechanic in there. We can see it, I think, in the video already, where if you are not careful as you approach them, you might actually get attacked by them. They poison you, that cause a bit of bleeding damage. Then that meathead next to you gets angry, one leads to the other, all of a sudden you're dead in the mud. Like, you don't want that. So being a bit careful about it, sneaking around a little bit, snaking close is something that we definitely would like to do here and advise you guys to do as well. However, it is a collection mechanic, sorts of like, we talk about like how many snakes you get, the points a little bit further down the line. It's something that Anton can explain. But in general, you do get some event points from them, and you also do get some of the snakes, as you can see here. And if you then have these snakes in inventory, then you have to choose, like, do I want to get more snakes, or do I actually maybe want to go towards the altar and make sure that I cash in on the snakes and turn them into the remaining event points? So it's always a bit of a strategic thing there, like a tactical options for you, like when is the right moment to go forward, when you want to explore more, or do you think maybe that you can take some more snakes from killing other players and just looting them? Maybe they had some as well.
And what happens if you just destroy the snake dance? Do you still get the points? Do you lose the snakes?
You get just a few points when you destroy them, but you don't get the snakes because snakes are gone then. So it's something to keep an eye out for. Like if the snakes are like situated in a position where you really don't feel like you can go there, like it's too exposed, whatever. That's an option. Just maybe shoot it. Maybe you have a silenced weapon or something. Easy points, but it's always more favorable to get close and actually grab at the snakes because you can turn them into cash with the altars, and that's the second thing. You already see it on the right side there, the image. So the altars, there's I think around like 2 of them in each boss layer, and they are very close, like to the boss layers, actually in the compound as a whole, and you have to choose whether you want to risk going there. Maybe you're with the boss already, then maybe just quickly jump out of the arena, quickly do your thing, just dispense them. Or maybe you just, like, while the others are fighting the boss, maybe you just want to quickly use that time while they're distracted to actually go and secure your own snakes that you brought along. So there's this tactical element where you have to make the choice, when is the right time? Do you want to sit it out? Do you want to just sneak in there, rush in there? It's totally up to you. And the moment you've kind of banked them, your entire team obviously gets the points from them.
This is awesome. By the way, everyone is just saying snake dance because dance sounds like dance. So we have snake dance.
Yeah.
And
it's like that. As we noticed before, like it's a perfect mix between Bence and Dennis. So.
Very true. Like that's almost how German people pronounce my name, and your name is in there too. So it's the perfect mechanic. And yeah, meanwhile we are playing more videos where you guys can see how the sacrificing the snake works, and maybe a little spoiler for some weapons and hunters as well.
Yeah, so basically the economy change that we're doing now that affects the gameplay is like you have these snakes, you collect them, they're part of your inventory. You can lose them if you get killed and looted. So you want to secure them, you want to safely put them to the altar, sacrifice them in order to convert them into your points. That's in a nutshell where the change happens. And while this might sound like a small thing, actually what we've seen in playtesting, the effect is quite interesting. Like it has very different techniques coming up, things of how people normally play the game. They might play a bit differently. Some people are a bit more careful, some people rush a bit more in. So we think it's like a healthy little change that breaks up the gameplay quite a bit and freshen things up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, as I said, really awesome to see how like different players play differently with these changes in mind. Because again, it's 2 months, so everyone will have like a lot of time to develop their own playstyle around the event as well. So Anton, let's take a look at how the points are actually earned and what you get for each action.
Yep. Thank you, Dennis. And here's like a little bit of like more boring stuff. So basically we have some certain actions that you need to do to get these event points. And basically, as you can see, for destroying snake dens, you will get only 2 event points. But if you loot them, you will get 4 event points plus 3 snakes. So we will skip the next part for a second. Then we have like clues and rifts, which will give you 8 points. For killing boss, you will get 10 event points plus 8 snakes. For looting hunter corpse, you will get 12 event points plus all snakes from the corpse. And if you extract with at least 1 bounty, you will get 20 event points. So banishing snakes on the altar will transform or like exchange your snakes into event points. So for each snake that you have in your inventory, you will get 2 event points. The most important thing here is that event points, they are like shared between the team. So for example, if someone from your team kills the boss, everyone will get 10 event points. But snakes will be granted only to this person who actually killed the boss. So in order to, get this 16 points for the whole team, you will need to, like try to support him and maybe like, push him a little bit to go and find this altar outside the compound.
The good thing is that like the moment you cash them in, everybody still gets the event points, right, from the conversion. So it's not like that the snakes will be exclusive to just a player holding them. It's just there's lots of responsibility on that player to deliver them for the team to an altar.
Yep. Also for like looting hunters, for example, if I had, let's say, 12 snakes on me and I was like killed, then the person who is going like to loot me, he will get this 12 snakes. But if I kill him back, I can get these snakes back. So yeah, I think it will, like bring us some, like very interesting PvP situations, like people trying to get revenge and their snakes back. So
the retaliation,
a rattle nation. There's probably a snake pun hidden in there somewhere.
Oh god. I prepared with Dennis for the stream and I already heard probably 1,000 snake puns today. We've seen some questions in the chat. For example, someone asked, what happens if you, let's say, loot a snake basket and then destroy it? Do you get extra points or it's just the first 4?
No, you won't get event points. So it's like 1 interaction per den. Yeah, so if you already looted it, you cannot get event points by destroying it. Or like vice versa, if you already destroyed it, you cannot loot it anymore.
Yeah, that's also interesting that you can kind of like go there, get the snakes out, leave the thing intact, but if it's very exposed, maybe there's an opportunity right there when the other team tries and see it and goes for it, right? So they will not be able to get anything from it, but you can kind of leave it behind. Like with the pumpkins, they always got destroyed in the process. Right now we have some things left over.
So people are also asking, is it like 1 interaction per team, just the first player getting it, and then again the points are shared within the team and snakes for that person, or can they still interact with it later?
It's just like 1 interaction. So if it like already was looted, then you cannot get more snakes out of it.
Awesome. And someone asking where the altars are. As Dennis and Anton both mentioned, they are close to the boss layers. So that's why it will create a lot of like interesting PvP situations as well, as players are going to the altar and it's next to the boss, let's say. So yeah.
This is something we try that intentionally. Like, so we wanted to break things up a little bit from a gameplay side, but we also wanted to be a bit conservative when it comes to how much it changes the normal flow in the mission. So placing them for this event close to the boss layers or like around the boss compound, we felt like at least it gives players still the same path of playing the objective. But it's something we'll monitor. We'll watch a little bit how you guys interact with all of that, and then that might lead to some conclusions for maybe future events as well.
We have to sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just
there was.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to clarify because so by boss compound we mean the compound where the boss spawned, and not just like every boss compound, right?
Yeah. So if we have like one boss, there will be 2 altars. If we have 2 bosses, we will have like 4 altars.
Exactly. So it is the compound the boss actually spawned in the game. So
yes.
Yeah. And go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you, Anton.
There were 2 questions that I would like to answer. So quick play. We don't have altars in a quick play. Instead of altars, basically every time, like when you become a wellspring, all your connected snakes are transformed into event points. And if you stay, be in wellspring, and then you will get somehow more snakes, then they will be transformed to event points after you basically like finish the mission when you become a sole survivor.
Yeah. It's like 2 milestones basically. First time being the wellspring, and then actually winning the round afterwards. And each of these points, this is where whatever you have holding on to, this will be converted.
Mm-hmm. And another very important question: if you extract with the snakes, do they give any points, or they must be banished? So they must be banished, because if you just keep them and extract, you will lose them. So you won't get any event points. If you have some snake tokens after the extraction.
No snake extraction.
Oh my god. Yeah, as there is no snake extraction. And if you have more questions about the points, please keep it to the end. We will also have a Q&A section, obviously, so we will try to answer as much as we can. But for now, let's just move on and see what's next, which is the trait changes that are introduced with this event.
Yeah, so we also have a couple of traits which are surprisingly like snake themed that have an impact on how you interact with the snakes or what you can do with it. So basically we have, I think it's like 3 traits that we have changed for the duration of the event. So they basically have like an additional effect. The first one, Poison Sense, is a very easy one for us. So we just basically said, you know what, just extend the range. So for the duration of the event, Poison Sense value, you'll have actually a much further range. 150 meters, that's even more than you have dark side range in order to see poison players in dark side. So 50 is the normal one, and for the event it's going to be extended. So obviously this is also interesting for us just to see, hey, how are people using maybe Poison Sense? So maybe in the future we might see some changes to the trait in general, but for the event, this is how it's been boosted.
This is going to be super cool in 1.9 in general, I think. And also with the extra snakes biting people and others being able to see. So I think this is going to be like really cool to use finally.
Yep.
It's Ari's favorite trait from the community managers. He always uses it and have been using it before this update too. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, him and the other 4 people really enjoy using it. So that's why it makes sense to kind of give it a bit of a boost. And we try it with the event now as well. Maybe it's a bit too much. Well, let's see. But for the event, that's what Anton was saying. That events are a little bit of a testing ground for us for gameplay side as well. So that's why we want to try things out with that. And hey, it's snake themed, so that's a good thing.
Definitely, yeah. And what's the next one, Dennis?
So the next one is Beast Face, not directly snake themed, but still around like animals in the world. So Beast Face, in its extension, basically allows you to approach the snake dance without fear of being bitten so much. Maybe to give some context to that, so depending on how you move towards the snake dance, you will startle them basically. And so if you just walk up to them, they might come out, they hiss, they make noise, right? So they might reveal your position to other players. And if you get too close before you do the interaction, like you might get bitten, and then you have all the consequences consequences of that. If you were to, for example, just crouch and approach them carefully, you probably can, unless you get really, really close, have a chance to just like steal the snakes and just get them out before they notice what's going on. Now with Beast Phase, obviously it's bit more forgiving because you can actually just like walk closer to it without the fear of the snakes escalating, but you still have to be careful because again, it propagates across half a compound or so. Like, so if these things rattle, if they make noises, if they hiss, that's when other players might still notice that you're around. So just treat them a little bit as a small horse, maybe, in terms of like, you don't want them necessarily to make a sound, but obviously their range is a little bit shorter than that.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. Like the snake dance also changed like how people react to sounds, because it's another sound trap in the game almost. So Beast Face actually gets better with that as well. So I think that's interesting. But we still have one trait that has been changed for the event.
Yes, and then we have Serpent again, snake themed. So with Serpent, you actually have one thing you can do. You can sacrifice the snakes you're carrying from a distance. So you kind of can use it as a reverse mechanic normally. Normally you use Serpent to grab stuff. Now you can actually use Serpent to deliver stuff. So if you're close to one of those altars, you have a chance to kind of like dispose of your snakes more safely without necessarily risking exposure. I mean, we kind of build the altars in a way that they're big, they're massive, they provide shelter, right? You can interact 360 around them, so it's not that easy to camp. But obviously it is a fear and it's a focal point, so people will get creative to do something with that. Put traps next to them, see if they can get like an angle to shooting at someone if they know someone is coming close. But with Serpent, at least there is a chance to also dispose of them rather safely.
Yeah, and obviously meanwhile you can see it on the video as well. You can obviously do it 2 walls and everything like you would do with the bounty with Serpent, or the clues as well.
Yeah, the snakes themselves, they make some noise, but the altars are actually rather silent. So they make a bit of noise if you're like within like 5 or 10 meters maybe, but like it's not like with a snake dance that you can escalate and alert half compound with the sound. So it is rather safe to dispose of the snakes. It's just a bit atmospheric. That's why there's a bit of sound as the fires go up as you burn them.
Actually, I've seen an interesting question about how bullets penetrate altars, or what happens if you like shoot one. Do they block bullets, or how does that exactly work?
Can you say it again? Sorry.
So what happens if someone shoots an altar? Does it like block bullets, or does it break?
Yeah. It's a solid piece. Like it, basically the shots don't really go through. Just treat it as a big piece of breaker stone.
Yeah, makes sense. But it won't break like the baskets, basically.
No. You can't destroy the altars. I think that would be frustrating. It's basically, oh, cool, I've just killed the boss. Here's some dynamite. Let's just blow up the chimneys there. Well, I got mine disposed before, and everybody else basically now sits on a bunch of snakes. We don't want that. So, no, they will be permanent. It's also perfectly fine, like just wait for the other guys to leave and then just dispose your snakes there. Just hope that no one else had the same idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, guys, you cannot kill people through it, or you cannot destroy it. So they are you can actually use this as cover then a bit maybe, but yeah,
that's one of the reasons why we kind of designed them to be kind of like these bigger oven type of like barbecues, just because they provide some shelter because of that.
A snake pizza maker basically. Yeah. Exactly. All right, so let's take a look at a few pictures. Obviously you guys seen them in videos, but here how it looks in the environment, both the dance and the altars as well. And then we actually have like a really cool 3D prop video here for you too. Very pretty.
It's even quite nice because like they're very prominent. Like, so if you're still looking for a boss, like you don't know where the boss yet is, like looking through your scope, or if you're close enough, I mean, just like spotting one of those inside the compound is a pretty good signal, like a pretty good sign for you that the boss will be in that compound as well. So you can actually kind of use them a little bit to kind of tell and confirm boss positions if you know where to look.
That's awesome, yeah. So many, like the whole game basically changes in so many aspects from these, so it's gonna be super fun to see.
The snakes are fun. Like you always want to kind of like get close, kind of pet them, etc., and then you think everything is fine, and then you just move that like half a centimeter close enough, and then they actually bite you.
And you're poisoned, yeah.
Like you're poisoned, yeah. Like I said in the beginning, and then that meathead all of a sudden gets interested in you, and
then you can't heal, and then you just end up dying.
I wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
But then again, we also like as being a poison mechanic. We do have Mithridatist, we do have the antidote shot. So obviously there's counters to the whole thing as well. That's why we also are pretty relaxed when it comes to, like, for example, the poison sense buff with 150 meters, just because there are ways that makes this less reliable as a mechanic, as people can actually actively counter it.
Yeah, that's cool, and I already know that there's gonna be a really pretty antidote shot later on to show, so maybe antidote shots are the answer to help out. But that's all about the points and how you get them. So let's talk about how we progress through the event, how the progression changes this time. Obviously, Anton and I talked about it in the video pretty extensively. So let's just talk a bit about it and recap it, how it will work this time.
Yeah, let's just very quickly recap what we had in the video. So basically, we are introducing the Gilded Path. It's a battle pass system. Works pretty much the same as in every other game. So there is a free and premium progression. You just earn event points, and basically you can complete the free progression. Yeah, just like that. So. If you want to unlock the Gilded Path, basically it will cost you 1,500 blood bonds, and at that point, like for example, if you are on a level 10, let's say, if you already got all the rewards from the free progression, if you purchase this Gilded Path access at that moment, you will get all the rewards for these 10 levels automatically.
Correct. And let's just take a look at the images where we can explain it a bit better, how the progression actually looks.
Yep. Go ahead.
No. Go. Okay. You're better at it anyway.
So yeah, as you can see, on the bottom part of the screen, we can see like all the rewards that are available. These ones that are behind this Gilded Path, they have this like skeleton key sign, and basically you can see that on the level first, there are 4 different rewards. So once you get 400 event points, you will unlock basically all of these rewards. Yeah. So here we have actually 2 options for the Gilded Path. The standard one for 1,500 blood bonds, and similar one but with the additional event points for 2,750, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's about right. Yes.
Yes, and then here's the second page of the progression with the Sparks pistol, actually.
Yep. Yeah, you can see that there are some weapon instances, so you can unlock these weapons from the free progression. But for for the Gilded Path, we also have some of these weapons available as instances before the actual unlock, so you will have a chance to try them out before unlocking them.
That's good. And yeah, these are just some other images showing like some other rewards. We didn't want to spoil everything because there's some really cool rewards in there. Obviously, we will be showing you the skins, but for example, we didn't want to reveal everything about the new Hunter because they are really cool. But I can see that there's some Bloodbond rewards as well, Anton. So how does that work?
Yes. We will have more than 1,000 blood bonds in both progressions. So yeah, consider that as a.
Okay, so players can basically get a lot of blood bonds.
Yeah. Also, just by playing, and unlocking them from both paths.
Awesome. Here our awesome graphic designer actually created an image for everyone to see. So screenshot now if you want, where you can very clearly see your free progression and the Gilded Path as well. So so there's.
Yeah, I mean. Sorry.
No. I just wanted to say that you can see that there's like new weapon unlocks, which we will talk about in a second, a bunch of legendary item unlocks, and also 4 legendary hunters, which is our first evolving hunter, and blood bonds in both the free and the Gilded Path progression too.
Yep. So let's jump to the most interesting part, I guess. People are already asking how many levels do we have. So we have 19 levels in total and 24,700 event points. So basically, as we already mentioned, you will start with like the first level, 400 event points, and then with every level, the required number of event points will be increased by 100. So basically, it's 400 for the first, 500 for the second, 600 for the third one, and so on.
Yeah, 61 days, guys.
Yeah, 61
Yeah.
days, and also I feel like there's more ways to collect points now, and especially with like the altars as well. So extractions been added, and yeah, there's just so many ways now to loot from other hunters too. And 61 days, yeah.
We are.
It really doesn't feel very grindy, like, because it comes very natural as part of the gameplay.
Yeah, we also are like, you know, looking at the data all the time, and well, because we introduce in so many like new mechanics, we just constantly, you know, look at the data and you know, just to check if everything is all right. So to keep it fair.
Yeah, and so obviously we talked about points, how much people need. Let's talk about briefly about the boosters, how we can do it this time. I know we also mentioned it in the video, but let's just recap it as well.
Yeah, let's just quickly go through. So event rate Signy, you already heard about that. I mean, those who played our previous event, 10 upgrade points, and yeah, basically it will give you 10% event boost and 3 meters bonus for the dark side vision. So you can use dark side to spot altars and snake dance. So yeah, this trait will help you doing that. Also, this time we have 4 legendary hunters, and basically 2 of them will be Bloodbond hunters, the Night Seer and Hail Mary, and also 2 DLC hunters, the Witch Hunter, which was like released a few months ago, if I'm not mistaken, and the Prescient, that's the new DLC which will be released together with the event.
Exactly. Actually, the DLC released a few hours ago. So, yeah, check it out on the Steam store or on consoles as well. It's out there. So you can already get the new Hunter and all the cool weapons in there. But we will show that you later as well. And
Yep. And yeah, as well, Mr. Cherry contracts, we will have them as well. So 4 different contracts for 2 hours, 24 hours, 3 days, and 7 days.
Awesome. And then the last thing we also touched on in the video is Cherry's Hunters. What is that exactly?
So I mentioned that we will have 19 levels, but it's, well, not actually true. We will have another level after you reach level 19. You will unlock the endless level, basically. So some of our players are familiar with this overspill mechanic that we had in the past. So basically, when you complete your progression, you could like keep earning event points, and after that, when the event is over, they was like exchanged for $100. So this time, yeah, we decided to make it a little bit more interesting, maybe a little bit more challenging as well. So you have a chance to compete with other players, and from this event leaderboard, you will be able to earn up to $10,500 $100 and 400 blood bonds. So as I mentioned in a video, we deliberately didn't put like any unique legendary content in there, because I mean, we understand that yeah, there are like a lot of, you know, players who are like very good at this game and probably will, you know, grind all the way to get to the top. So yeah, because of this, we try to make it optional and put well, somewhat decent reward, but not that important. So yeah.
Yeah, it's basically just some extra
how it
fun for
works.
those that finish the event and want to like still play and compete against each other a bit and maybe get some cool rewards in the end for like $100 and Bloodbond. So it's completely optional, but I think it's like a fun little extra on top of the event. Yeah, we also have a bundle in the store. So what is that this time? We had some for the previous events as well, but what is it this time?
This time, I mean, as always, we will have some event points. So 3,000 event point pack, Cherry's Express contract for 3 days, and legendary alert trip mine. Basically, loyalty bonus as well. We had this system like in our previous event. So the loyalty bonus means that if you purchase legendary alert trip mine and complete the event plus purchase the prescient DLC, you basically will get like a 1,000 blood bond cashback for this legendary trip mine.
It's cool. Yeah,
That's
let's
how it
take a look at
works.
the trip mine then, because I know it's actually different looking than the regular trip mine. So it's called Miner's Song. This is how it looks from the outside, which is already cool. But I think Dennis especially likes this one. Here's in the game. Yeah, so it's gonna be green, guys. Really cool.
Yeah, so similar to what we did with like the fusey stuff we said in the past. It's a bit of a color change, just a small thing, but makes it feel a bit special. Because, I mean, I like the look of it itself, like as well, this rusty kind of like metal, like it looks like it has been exposed to quite a bit of water and stuff. So I think it's actually pretty interesting. I like it a lot.
Same.
And it's green.
And if you guys watched the event trailer, gameplay trailer, it's actually shown in there as well. Someone walking through it and it exploding. So check that out as well if you want to see it in action. But obviously tomorrow you can actually try it in game too.
I definitely want to see videos where people bring all that little legendary like tools, consumables and stuff like with different colors and just like make a nice firework. I think that would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. With that we went through all the progression and the points. Again, if you have any questions, we will have Anton back at the end for a Q&A segment to answer those. But for now, thank you, Anton, for talking to us, and we will get Paul in here to talk about or drive us through the new weapons that are coming in the event. So talk to you in a few minutes, Anton.
Yeah. See you.
See you. And Paul, the Ronin, also known as the Ronin. Hey, Paul, how are you today? Hope you're on the call.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, so let's talk about those new weapons. And obviously they will unlock for now exclusively during the event with the progression of the event. But as opposed to previously, there won't be an early access period or anything like that. When the event is over, it will come to the regular progression of the game. We heard your feedback regarding this, and it won't be an early access period for this two new weapons anymore. And without further ado, let's take a look at the Sparks pistol.
Yeah, you have totally not seen that before.
No,
so this is like one of two additional weapons that we're adding with the event. Both of them being variants, not unique weapons. So I'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, maybe Paul, just walk us through it, please.
Yeah, so this is the first new weapon, obviously. It's the Sparks pistol. You might have seen it before. And yeah, it's a new long ammo pistol, small slot, that will go alongside the uppercut as an option. So it's the way it works is it's a normal Sparks LLR cut down to be a small handgun that you can hold with one hand. It has the same high stopping power as the base it deals 149 damage, and it also only has one bullet at a time, like the regular rifle does. And the damage is only up to 20 meters, but we got some graphs to show, like last time in the last stream that we showed. And since it's a small shot, it can also be dual wielded, which you'll see in a video in a sec.
Yeah. So this is basically like a proper pocket rifle now. So what we wanted to do with this is like that's why we kind of opted for keeping the 149 damage, even though that is a bit inconsistent because other weapons with short barrels they also drop some of the damage, like the Obelisk, for example. We want to ensure that like that the thing that kind of feels sparky is actually retained, which is like that you only have this one hit point left. It only happens up to a very, very short range, right? So the 20 meters we mentioned there, then obviously like pistol drop off is usually pretty brutal, and you've seen it already with the uppercut changes and just general like how that performs. So it's not going to be like a sniper pistol of massive long distances, but it definitely has that feeling of hitting someone with the sparks in like shorter mid ranges, which I think is very powerful.
Yep, and what we didn't actually read out is that it will cost $155 in the game.
So actually it becomes more expensive if you saw it off, right?
True. I mean, the price of the labor, right? Like just cutting it off and making it nice.
Don't want to bend that barrel well, so
And let's just take a look at how it looks. Yeah, and then we will also look at a lot of gameplay clips where the guys can tell us what we are looking at. But yeah, it's a pretty gun. I really like the very end, and it's just a very short sparks, which is my favorite rifle in the game. So
like we were actually considering whether it should be based on Martini Henry or something else. Like there's a couple of examples out of handguns that are kind of like based from longer rifles. And yet, though, we opted for it being a Sparks just because like it's one of the first weapons we had in the game as well. The Sparks rifle that is, and it's also very iconic. It's very much like something people associate with like skill play, and we want to ensure that like, somehow like that feeling carries over to the pistol as well.
Yeah, and meanwhile we can obviously see it in game. So maybe Paul, you can tell us what we're seeing.
Yeah, so I mean, not too much different as you can tell from the regular Sparks, apart from the crazy amount of recoil you can see. It's maybe even more than the uppercut, which already had a lot. So it's definitely a fun weapon to use, and it feels very nice to get that recoil. And yeah.
Yep, and we actually have a few more clips of it as well.
Yeah, you can also see it also has a similar speed, almost the same speed as the regular Sparks for reloading. The mechanics don't really change too much with this. You still have to use two hands to reload it, like with the regular Sparks. So we didn't want to go too far with that, and it's quite a powerful pistol. So one of the things we wanted to make sure we were looking at was the reload speed. Yeah.
And there's the dual wielding.
That gives you like proper like pirate pistol vibes right there.
Yeah.
The saber and the Sparks pistol is then you know that. Yeah.
Arr.
Arr.
Yeah, like the interesting part is that you can obviously still use two ammunition types with it, right? Like swap around, so you can actually make this a very flexible loadout. And in light of recent poison changes, I think quite some tempting choices there.
Truly. And during the reload, I love how the hunter puts down one of the guns and just reloads the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we kind of went for the Lamat style reload here just because it was really cool.
Looks very sweet. And yeah, guys, you will be able to play it from tomorrow. So we want to see all those clips. And yeah, go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
Of course, you can just interrupt the reload just like on the Lamat. You don't have to wait for the whole thing to happen. So you can reload one at a time if you want. So, which is an interesting point there.
And in one of the video, we've seen the custom ammo. So does it work the same as for the regular Sparks, or is there any difference there?
They share the same.
Yeah, it's the same. Obviously, the pistol ammo has the same drop off as the pistol, so it doesn't have the same one as the rifle. So there's that. An interesting point here would probably be that since FMJ is one of its main things is it increases effective range. You can also get some extra range out of this for taking that ammo, which is a nice thing.
Yeah,
interesting to see people like sniping snipers out of towers with this one at like, was it 130 something meters or so, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, it's probably very satisfying to kill someone with this from such long range.
I think that's like a general thing, right? Like with hunt, like especially single shot weapons, they're very satisfying if you pull off the shots, and it's nice to finally have a pistol that kind of follows this as well. That is not the hand crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, and yeah, let's just take a look at the charge for this weapon, how it differs from the uppercut. And the first graph we have is the old versus new uppercut in 1.9. So Dennis, maybe you want to
I can quickly start, but
Yeah.
I'm going to hand it over to Paul because he's the master of stats.
Oh.
So basically, this is the graph you've already seen, and we've done some changes to the uppercut with the 1.9 update, like the last update we released. And as you might have guessed, some of that was in preparation of making room in the arsenal and in the balance for the Sparks pistol. So we kind of changed the uppercut a little bit by making it a little bit less effective in close range, which was a general thing we wanted to do, like so that you can't two-tap as far out as you could before. So right, the two-tap. So for example, if someone had like 125 fit point loss, you could, in the previous one, you could down them up to like 30 meters with a follow-up shot. And with the changes that we introduced in 1.9, we reduced that range to 20 meters only. So you can see like the beginning is very similar, but it's like a subtle small change that has this knock-on effect and kind of like help tame the uppercut a little bit in these close encounters. On the other side, however, we kind of made it sure that like it kind of retains the damage over a longer distance before then eventually at really long distances kind of like drops off to like basically insignificant values. Now, when we take a look at the new graph, so this is basically how we positioned the Sparks pistol and the new uppercut, the 1.9 uppercut. You can kind of see that like the Sparks pistol is obviously like superior in many ways, has the same curve, the same drop off because they're using the same long ammo projectile, but it allows still the Sparks and the uppercut to have their own domain, where the old uppercut was kind of a little bit in between those. Now we have a weapon that is like better in terms of damage and damage retention, which is the Sparks pistol, and one which is a little bit weaker because of the reduced two-tap range at close ranges. So I think, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Sparks pistol can still do like the follow-up shot thingy up to 40 meters, for example. So if the old uppercut was 30, the Sparks pistol is at 40, and the new uppercut is at 20. So there's a bit of a difference between them now, and obviously that all comes at the expense of maybe not having more than one shot to go through before you have to reload, even though the Sparks pistol is the stronger weapon of the two.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, and just wanted to say that we definitely didn't hint at something like this coming in the last dev stream. But let's take a look at the headshot graphs as well. Or headshot damage graphs.
Careful. Go ahead there, exactly.
This is the 191 with the uppercut damage, so the old versus the new. And then the next one will be the Sparks pistol.
Yeah, it's a similar change.
So here you can see that the new uppercut is around about 115 meters is the headshot range on the last one. Whereas on the Sparks here, it's around about 130, 140, around about that area that we wanted to push it up to. So deals more damage across the board, because it's just, that's what it is. It's the Sparks, but it only has one shot, and you have to reload each time, which is the caveat when taking the Sparks pistol. But that's the kind of thing that we really wanted to go with the Sparks pistol compared to the uppercut, where the uppercut is you have multiple shots, you can keep firing, and yeah, especially
interesting is also like what Paul was mentioning before. If you now use FMJ, you can actually push them further out, right? Like you can make the Sparks pistol do even more effective range hits at further distance. I think you can like another, was it 15, 20 or so meters, I guess. So that kind of really helps to kind of set the two a little bit apart.
Yeah, and that's especially on the Sparks, the 149 range gets bumped up by around 10 meters. So that torso damage will be bumped up by about 10 meters. There, so that's a really nice thing that FMJ can do for you. Obviously, you get less ammo, and you get from picking up the custom ammo. But yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how many people will, for example, now be at this having this emotional conflict that whether they go with the uppercut or with the Sparks pistol, right? So I mean, obviously that's kind of intentional. We want you guys to suffer. We want you guys to make a choice here. Like for us, I think the interesting part will be to see how people will react to these new weapon choices and their loadout creation. So, for example, will you be bringing, let's say, a Sparks pistol with a shotgun, right? Will that be your choice? Or do we actually still want to have the higher rate of fire, like having more rounds ready with the uppercut for flexibility? Maybe it's going to be different for someone running a Romero compared to someone running a rifle or a Spectre. I don't know. That's what we're interested in, is kind of seeing how you guys will start utilizing them and come up with the best builds. Will you be just basically taking the Sparks pistol dual just to get more ammunition for the aftermath? Maybe, but then again, you only have 2 shots in the secondary, right? It's always coming with trade-offs. So it will be very interesting to see and observe how you guys are using this feature.
Yeah, that's cool. Just some people ask like, oh, is all headshots kill? That's not true. As you can see on the graph, that 150 damage is that's the hunter's full health. So that's when that's the effective range, we call it. So that's the range where one shot would kill a player. So as Paul already mentioned, for the uppercut, it's around 110 meter or so, and for the Sparks pistol, it's more like 130.
There were like 2 questions I saw. I quickly want to just raise them already. So one was, is the Sparks pistol going to be a standalone pistol, or is it going to be like a rifle unlock? After the event, it's going to be a rifle unlock, so it will be just part of the Sparks, and then it's going to be like one variant of that. Similar to like the officer carbine as a rifle is still basically just a sub variant of the officer pistol. However, during the event, they are their own unique unlock in the progression, and you just unlock them by having enough event points collected for that to be the case. And then for the duration of the event, you will always have them available regardless whether you prestige or not. So it only returns to the regular unlock mechanic after the event is over. And the second question was how ambidextrous is working. Maybe Paul can say something about that.
Yeah, so similar to the Lamat, it just in this case just increases the speed of the animation. There's no special animation unfortunately for this one, but it does still work for ambidextrous. So you do get a faster reload, and it does go a little bit faster. So yeah.
Okay, cool. The Sparks pistol sounds great, and let's go to the other weapon unlock as well, because we have multiple. So let's talk about the Romero Alamo, which also you guys probably never seen before. So, so yeah, Paul, tell us about it.
Yeah. So this is a new Romero variant. This one comes in at $98. It's important for us, for me in particular. I want the Romero and all of its variants to stay as low as they can. Obviously, if this is too low, maybe we'll make some changes. But the Romero for me needs to be the cheap option, and the Alamo and this device on the side of here makes it seem like this should be the cheap option for when you want to go to a repeating shotgun. So. This is a good price for me personally. I wanted to keep it fairly low, but yeah. So this is the.
I was fighting really hard with him about whether it's going to be 99 or 98, and he won in the end.
One extra $100, yeah. So the idea behind this one is it's a 1-barrel shotgun, the Romero, with a device attached to it, which includes an external magazine and a reloading device, all into one. This one has the same high stopping power. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
So this one holds 4 + 1 shells at a time. So 5 altogether. So it's got quite a big magazine compared to, obviously the original one, which only had 1. So yeah, and this one also has the same high stopping power as the base Romero. Another important point for me here was when coming up with the design for this weapon was that I didn't want the Romero to lose its power, because that's why people pick the Romero. It's cheap and it has power. So for me, it was really important for us to balance it with the same amount of power as the regular one, which I think we did well. Let us know, obviously, of course. And the drawback, the main drawback for this one is it has a slower reload time, of course. This thing is it's almost steampunk and clunky, so it's going to take a while for it to reload. And then the other drawback is that it can only take 1 custom ammo in, so it can no longer have 2 slots for.
Yeah, you're kind of committed, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds cool, but why don't we just take a look at it and see how it looks? First of all, on the table.
Yeah, I think everybody who has seen like certain pop culture relevant video clips on the internet might have come across this in the past. And this is yeah, you see stuff like that and you think, yeah, that's Hunter.
What do you mean, Dennis? This is the first time I ever see it. But yeah, looks super cool, to be honest. Very fitting for Hunter, I must say. Yeah.
You can have like the mechanism there sitting next to it separately. So it's really like a very like a genius little device.
And yeah, let's take a look at the gameplay clips we're in.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's still quite slow. So there's no real comparison here between the Spectre and the Slate. This is still much slower than the Slate and the Spectre. It's just important to note, we didn't want this to become the new repeating shotgun that outclasses everyone, because it shouldn't be. But here you can see some of the cool reloads and how this mechanism works, which was very fun to work on, I have to admit.
It's trying to catch the makeshiftiness, if that's a word, of the whole thing, like being kind of like just like slapped together. Hey, we have this one-shot shotgun. How can we optimize it? How can we make it better for the hunter? And it just feels like it's something hunters would kind of come up with as they try to work with the tools of their time.
Yeah, and as you could see, the reload it is quite slower than the normal Romero, which is actually quite quick. So.
Mm-hmm. Also, some of you might be wondering why they only reload as many as they do. You can see here they only put in 3 and then put in 4th, and they don't put in a 5th, and that's because the tube on the long tube where the rounds go can only fit 3 in, and once you put 3 in, 1 has to be moved to the elevator before you can put in another one. So that's why you have to put in another one at the end of the reload. Just something that how this mechanism works that we wanted to make sure.
Yeah, this is something that I found always fascinating. Like when we kind of researched into weapons for hunt, like back when we were still on the drawing board for the game, like coming up with like weapon designs that were intentionally a bit clunky, right? Like, hey, cool. So what was the first pump action shotgun like? That's how I kind of researched into the Spectre, and like it was basically not as refined as a modern shotgun, right? Like you didn't have a disconnect between like the slide and the reload mechanism, always something interwoven and connected. You needed to operate one, and you might lose some rounds, and just like it feels awkward by handling it. And like for me, like the Alamo device here, that's just like in the spirit of that same craftsmanship. Like just like people thought, hey, can we just make something close to make the weapon shoot faster? And they don't come up with a perfect mechanism, but somehow it still works. And like this weapon captures this spirit, I think, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Could you maybe explain like how the mechanism for the reload works, because it looks like really complicated? Just so the gun nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's very interesting.
Just a quick one, because it's quite difficult without me being able to walk through step by step and frame by frame. But the way it works is you have the long tube where you put the rounds in, and then you have I'm calling it the elevator here. It's the thing that moves around from the tube to the chamber. What you do is you put 3 in the longer tube, and then there's a spring in the long tube and a spring in the small tube. One spring pushes the other one into the elevator. Then when you open it, the elevator moves over because the ejecting round hits a little lever, which makes it fly over. Then the elevator puts 1 into the chamber. Then you close it, which also moves the elevator back. And then 1 from the long tube moves into the small tube. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I was following you completely there.
So you need a degree. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, that's super cool. I can see that the chat loves it as well. It's gonna be very, very fun to play with it. And yeah, Ari said he can feel my headache from just listening to that. I actually enjoyed it, but I didn't understand half of it.
I mean, when I first saw this mechanism, like I had to giggle. I just had to giggle. And it was just like, oh, really? Like,
I shouldn't have asked it. Yeah. But thank you for explaining. I mean, it was very interesting. So, and for all that mechanism for $98, that is a steal. It should have been 99. Then I don't know.
we can still increase it to 99 in case the community feedback will be severe. But let's see how people think about it first and play with it. But I mean, changing prices is an easier thing for us to do if it's needed.
But with that, I think we talked enough about the new weapons. Obviously, you can still ask your questions, and Paul or Dennis will answer it at the end. But we also have a new time of day for the event specifically. So let's just take a few pictures of that and let's look at it, how it actually looks. You guys already seen it in some of the trailers, but I think it's really cool. So obviously it's a bit like night time of day, but with a twist to it, and I actually love it personally. We just have a few pictures of the different compounds. It's a bit brighter, I feel like, but it has this greenish, yellowish tint to it. So it's gonna be really fun. And it's currently exclusive for the event, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be only available during the 2 months or 61 days to be exact of the event.
Yeah, it's a nice testing run for us to kind of roll it out. And obviously during that time, it's gonna replace the regular night that we have. So this is the next 61 days of night you'll experience whenever you experience night.
Awesome. I already love it. Can't wait. In general, I love night maps sometimes, depending on my loadout. But this one is even cooler, so yeah. But obviously you guys will experience it in person tomorrow. So yeah,
we're just teasing.
we really are. But that being said, we came to the end of the gameplay and new weapons part. So thank you, Dennis and Paul, and see you in a bit again for the Q&A. And we have our awesome narrative team on hold, watching all this talk about the gun mechanics when they just want to talk about the awesome story of the Serpent Moon. So let's talk about the story. And again, thank you, Dennis, Paul. Awesome.
Talk later.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
And here we have Bree and Umut. Hey guys, sorry for the long wait. Hope you guys enjoyed it though. And yeah.
As always.
Yeah. And yeah, let's talk about the story of the event. And could you just tell us about the lore and what happened with Traitor's Moon and what is happening now?
Yeah, so from our end, we kind of wanted to do a whole year of one overarching story. As I said last time, we often troll the Discord to hear what people have to say about it, and a lot of people wanted something that was less disjointed, so we're continuing with the appropriately named and epic Kevin on his journey to defeat Mr. Sherry.
Yeah, I mean, it's even the last event was super cool. So why don't we watch the awesome recap video the creative services team made for us? So maybe you guys already seen it yesterday, but yeah, let's check it out together here.
The moon, in all her glory, was being corrupted. While Finch continued to be the face of the Louisiana AHA, Mr. Orwell Sherry, the AHA administrator and Finch's right hand, continued to experiment with power. Night after night, the administrator brought hunters to an abandoned house by the pond and the willow tree. And night after night, they burned and fell. But the house was not abandoned. And night after night, the orphaned Kevin Linus looked on in horror as he watched Mr. Sherry sacrifice hunters. With wicked words and enormous wealth, Mr. Sherry lured the young orphan to join him. But the unexpected happened. In her desperation for salvation, the moon chose the boy as her champion. He agreed. Now Kevin Linus is on a mission to end the cruel work of the administrator. But power is an unwieldy thing, especially for one so young. Will Kevin be able to survive the onslaught and save the moon? Or will Mr. Sherry's methods prevail?
Yeah, so that was an awesome little trailer, and obviously everyone recognizes the voice of Rick or Iceman, who is also in the chat, so that was great to hear. But Bree, could you maybe recap it again for us, like me that, it's like too difficult to understand, too fancy words, so just like a bit simplified so everyone can also understand what happened in Traitor's Moon?
Of course. So yeah, quick and dirty version is that Mr. Sherry has been experimenting to make some changes around the bayou. Unfortunately, his prime real estate was behind Kevin's house, so Unfortunately, Kevin had to deal with a lot of people screaming and dying, which of course would cause anyone concern. So he decides to investigate for himself. What he finds there is that Mr. Sherry is using the moon for something more sinister than should be happening and could end up hurting the moon in general. So Kevin takes up the mantle and decides that he's going to defend the moon and kill Mr. Sherry once and for all.
Wow, that actually sounds really cool, and obviously we will see how it continues in this event as well. Yeah, so I know that you guys and obviously we try to fit the lore to the event a bit more. So how about that?
Yeah, so a thing that we really saw for feedback is that those who read the story during the Trader's Moon didn't feel like it was connected so much. So we really wanted to work together with live design and game design and everyone in between in order to make something that really feels like every hunter who goes into the bayou is actually helping as part of the story and are like kind of in it to, I guess, benefit Mr. Sherry for right now. I won't say any more. But yeah.
No spoilers, yeah. But yeah, it sounds really great. And obviously, for those that are interested in the Traitor's Moon story, you can still find it online, read it in many places. But maybe we can hint that you will be able to maybe listen to it in the future as well.
Just a tiny hint.
Just a tiny hint.
Too much.
Yeah. But let's talk a bit about this event then. What are new, Umut? What can people expect as changes in this event?
Hello, everyone. So, yeah, thank you very much, Bree, for that great recap and engaging storytelling once again. That was really, really fun to listen to you. So all of us, in the narrative design team, of course, worked so hard for this event. And, my dear colleagues, they came up with this beautiful story, personally, I think. And of course, we needed a better and more interactive, per se, UI page for that. And our colleagues in the UI team, kudos to them, and just, a big shout out to them. Our UI designers and UI artists came up with a great page. And on this page, of course, as you move through the progression in the event progression, you will unlock chapters and you will unlock rewards, etc. But on this page specifically, you can actually track your progress in the story. So you can actually go back there once you unlock a new chapter in the story, and you can just read the new piece and then just keep progressing in the event. And also we added one more thing to our stories, which is the audio versions. And when we're looking at the screenshot, I can just point at the button that you need to click.
Let's just go there.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So this is how it looks, and I personally think it looks really, really amazing, and it's way easier to keep track of the progress that you make in this story, and you can always go back and read or listen to these stories whenever you want. And you can just easily access them here. If you look at the bottom, you can see the little arrows that you can just switch between chapters if there are more than one chapter on one node. We see here. And also, you can click the button at the bottom on the left side to listen to the audio recordings of the stories. And of course, I would like to thank Christoph Prach and Dominic Zingler for their help with this, and also my colleagues for their great, directing skills.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, we have these awesome new audio versions of the story as well, which will, I think, help a lot of people. But we will also have a lot of cool videos during the event. I don't think we should spoil anything really for that just yet, but just keep an eye on all our social channels, subscribe to our YouTube especially, and there's gonna be a lot to see in the next 2 months in that regard as well.
Absolutely. Hopefully our players will enjoy everything.
Yep, and just to go back to the whole event progression image without the details. Obviously, so we can see that there's 15 chapters to unlock, and if I'm not mistaken, as people progress through the event itself, they slowly unlock the story as well as it unfolds. So yeah, it is gonna be very cool. Obviously, we don't want to spoil anything in this stream because that would ruin the fun. So you have to play and figure it out. But we have a segment about all the legendaries coming up, and we will maybe give you a few hints how they are related to the story as well. So yeah, let's take a look at our new DLC first of all. Okay, Bree, you have to pronounce this for me because
It is the Prescient.
The Prescient Knight DLC. Thank you. I always mess it up, so it's very, very nice to have you here. And before we take a look at the legendaries, we actually have the DLC trailer, which will be available right after this stream as well. But let's take a look for the first time.
Service is killing it every single time.
That trailer was so cool, wasn't it? I know that it was already on Steam yesterday, so I actually seen that some people already reversed it and uploaded it to YouTube. So it actually works reverse as well. Super, super cool. And it is actually now available on all platforms already as of today. So you can get it on the Steam store, you can get it on PlayStation as well as Xbox. And we also have a bundle deal on Steam where you can grab the Prescient, thank you, Prescient Knight DLC bundled with They Came from Salem, which are obviously both legendaries for the event and the base game, so you can maybe get a good deal on those. But yeah, let's take a look at what is in the pack. So first of all, we have a Scottfield Spitfire called Blindside. It looks really sick, actually. And maybe you guys have something to share about it?
I mean, we can't reveal too much when it comes to anything around the Prescient because she actually has quite an interesting role in the story. But as you can see, if you happen to know about some of our in-game factions, you might get some hints as to where her origin story actually begins, especially with these two Scottfields.
Sounds good. I think that's perfectly fine, and at least people will look out for it even more. But we also have a forewarning, which is a Vatterly Deadeye skin, also following the same theme. Anything to add to this?
Other than it looks cool, I think this is actually one of Umut's favorite guns to play in game, so...
Yeah, this and the silenced version, definitely.
Oh, I know the silenced one people have been asking for so long, yeah.
Absolutely. This is going to be one of my favorite weapons for sure.
The same, I really like it too. And yeah, like Vatterly Silencer has been so... Silencerly, we call it, has been so good. So finally, actually, 2 skins coming to it. So... Yeah, and we also have the Moon Bleached, which is a hand crossbow, so a smaller crossbow variant. Again, super cool.
This one's especially spoiler filled, so I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, no spoilers. I'm sorry, chat. I know you would love to hear it, but again, find it out for yourself, and maybe later we can talk about it again. And obviously the hunter itself, maybe my favorite, one of my favorite new hunters. At least she is like a mega badass. So
definitely top 3 for me.
Yes, super cool.
Absolutely agreed. Yep.
So I guess we will see her a lot in the bayou in the coming months as well. Again, available today, so you can already grab it. But that's about the DLC, and we are here for the event, so let's talk about the legendary unlocks that you can get during the event. and they are all in order of unlock. So the first one is the Snake All Ward, which is the first antidote shot, legendary antidote shot in the game.
It looks amazing, seriously. I personally love this one so much because I'm a huge fan of legendary tools and consumables for some reason. I don't know why, but I really like them. But especially this one has a significant importance in the story. And also the Evolving Hunter we briefly mentioned before. And we highly recommend reading their story and just coming back here and then reading the stories of the weapons and tools they actually possess.
Yeah, that sounds great. And obviously antidote shots sounds like something really useful for the event in general too, with all the poison stuff. And yeah, it's just so beautiful, isn't it? Like, honestly.
Dennis just mentioned a name, Meathead. So I think, this will be very, very useful against them.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in this poison meta, right?
Yeah. Like the poison sparks pistols. This will be a great consumable to use against them too. And then again, very important for the lore. So find out more later. Another picture, just to look at it a bit closer. Again, it also has this little snake pattern over it. I feel like so very
just
very
imagining
fitting.
this in a night map and just moonlight under the moonlight, just shining. It's just
the gold.
I can't wait to be honest.
Super cool, yeah. And again, it's like one of the first or like the earlier unlocks. So I guess everyone will just take this instead of antidote shots. But yeah, super cool. But let's move on to the second one, which is a Berthier called Earthshine.
I think honestly this might be one of my favorites.
It's like good night, kind of like good night enemy players, like a little moon on it. Yeah. Is there anything to share for this weapon, or there's nothing we can actually say?
This one's a little bit safer to share. For those who don't know, we have the theme of the moon for the events for this year, so we wanted to kind of stick to that and make sure that people knew that we're still exploring the heavens when it comes to everything around this. So again, the team did amazing, beautiful work on this, and I'm so excited to get it because Berthier is actually like one of the 5 guns I'm like kind of decent at when I play Hunt, aka when Umut carries me in game. So I'm excited to put people to sleep with it so that they remember.
It must be very fun to watch a narrative team hunt session, actually. Like you guys just connecting all the dots everywhere. Yeah.
We'll go to certain places and we'll be like, we wrote that and we wrote that and also that. It's great.
That sounds really fun. Maybe one of you could join us for a gameplay stream soon, and you could play some lore in there. It would be very fun.
Where's Umut? What direction is Umut?
To your right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other right. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And let's move on to Coluber, or if I
got it right.
Perfect. Which is obviously for the new Alamo variant of the Romero, and again, very snaky, very cool.
Yeah, we're really going in, and I believe that this has a little bit of a connection to our Viper. So again, we can't say much.
I'm sorry, I cannot just get them to say everything. I'm sorry, guys, but at least you get to see the skin, which is super cool. So, and the snake theme all throughout the event is also great. I know a lot of you love the snakes, and I've seen in comments everywhere that a snake is your favorite animal, and you're scared of snakes, so it's gonna be awesome. And next one is the snake shot, which is for the new Sparks pistol that we also just seen recently, and again, very cool, very snaky, actually, like a snake head on the gun.
Especially the triggers, I really like how they look. This is again, like you said, Bence, for one of our new weapons that our players will unlock through the event progression, and that one as well has an importance in the story. So I'll try not to spoil anything, but it's one of the weapons that the Viper, our Evolving Hunter, carries.
Wow. That's already great to here. I saw that they carried it in the trailer as well, so makes sense.
Yes.
But yeah, just in general, beautiful, I think. Awesome. And the next one is Antosha, which I learned is Anton's cute name version. So hey Anton, I know you're watching too. Let's look at it. Also awesome, like these little snake heads on the chain part, and then the snakes firing out of the gun. It's almost like shooting snakes out.
To give a little backstory, because I don't think we really were able to sneak this in too much, but if you remember from the Trader's Moon story, that Kevin got a gun at the end of it that's supposed to be very powerful and supposed to be protection and almost friendship to the end for him. So we decided to slap it in this time around, and that's how we got Antosha.
Okay, so it's actually a lore weapon straight up from the previous event. So
yeah, we retconned some continuity in there just for fun.
That's great. As we mentioned, like we've been adding more elements of the lore into the game as well. So this is just a proof of that as well. But it's so pretty, isn't it? Like again, like in a night map when the moon will shine on it, will look so good. A bit closer shot too. And then we have the Slither, which is the Winfield's 5th, which I'm very happy about because I love my Winfield's 5th with high velocity ammo. I know a lot of you can relate to that, and yeah, again, the amazing snake team, but obviously different. Is there anything to hint about this one?
I'm personally very happy to have another Winfield Swift skin, to be honest.
Same.
Yeah, one of my favorite weapons. This is also tied to the story, especially the Viper and their past, which is pretty interesting. Although they're an assassin, they also carry weapons for certain reasons. I think I've already said too much.
Very mysterious, sounds cool. And yeah, we also saw them carrying it in the trailer as well, so very accurate.
Especially I don't know if you agree with me, but there's this beautiful simplicity in this weapon. That's what I really like. It's just so great.
Like what I really love is that like it's basically one snake throughout the whole weapon, and it just starts at the end and finishes like at the other end, and it's like
absolutely
so cool. Yeah. Again, one more picture from a different angle. Awesome. And then you said you love non-weapon legendaries, that consumables. So we do have the Red Dog, which is the first Dynamite bundle legendary in the game.
Yes, I love this one, to be honest. Again, one of our themes, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bree, is mines. And actually that we opened, if I'm not mistaken, with 1.9.
Correct,
and
yeah.
People already can go in there and just, explore the place. And again, this item as well has a significance in the story, and a big one actually. So we are pretty happy with this.
Yeah, so King Snake Mine just opened in 1.9, and we actually had a lot of lore teasers about it as well, which came with the help of Bree. So maybe if you read back, maybe you can find some secrets in there as well.
It'll be exciting to see all the people who reenact a certain part of the story with this. I fully plan on killing Umut with Red Dog.
Just in game, yeah.
Give me a few more months, please. Let me enjoy. A little bit more.
Yeah, no, I never killed a team kill before with a dynamite bundle. That never happened before. Hey, Ari. Yeah.
Ari, where are you?
Yeah, in the chat somewhere. But yeah, so as the lost weapon unlock is Lucidius, which is, as I said, another veteran silence. So a lot of people will be happy with this one, and it's also super pretty and cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna spoil a little bit, just because this weapon is connected to Hail Mary, actually, who is Nikki, our lead narrative designer's favorite hunter. so far. So I'm excited that now she gets a new fun accessory.
Oh, little hints to Hail Mary, guys. Read the lore of Hail Mary as well, maybe. But yeah, I think like a lot of people will be super happy with this one. Like the silencer at the end looks so cool too. So all those veteran silencer lovers, now you get 2 suddenly. So no more spamming, please.
I am so happy.
Same, very cool. And yeah, so Viper, the legendary hunter for the event. Could you guys tell us a bit about them?
Yeah, so for the Viper, as you've probably already guessed from everything we've been hinting, they are an assassin who actually comes from the Middle East. A lot of people might know, but they are actually contracted by the Sinners, if you happen to know that name. Cookie points for you for being deep in the lore. But yeah, they're someone who was taught in the old ways of assassinry and Assassin's Guild, obviously experienced in poisons and venoms, who has been specifically recruited by Mr. Sherry to kind of figure some things out and take care of some things and tie up some loose ends for them. So I'm not going to say much more, but I hope that you guys all enjoy all the amazing work that everyone did on them as a hunter, and also, just so everyone's aware, the snake around their neck is real and alive, and her name, is Delata. So if you ever see Delata in game, please wave.
Yeah, it sounds like super cool. And obviously we only show 2 stages here, and not the 2 coolest ones. So just play the game and find out how they look as well, because they are super cool too. And yeah, with that, I think we arrived to the end of this segment and to our Q&A section. So Bree, I know you'll be still there with your voice, but sadly we could only fit 4 people on the Q&A stream. So thank you so much for being here and talking to us, and you too, Umut. And thank you for talking about the awesome lore. It's always super exciting, and I love how we are adding more and more to the game and to the events as well. So, but yeah, let's move to our Q&A segment, and chat, here's your time to ask all your questions. So, yeah, chat questions. Welcome back, Dennis and Anton too.
Hello.
And again, Polis and Bria are still here as well, but sorry, I could only prepare 4 people. My bad. And yeah, let me just open Discord as well if we received some questions in there. Someone asked, how will the hunter stages work exactly?
Yeah, I think I can answer that. So basically, the Viper skin will be selectable. So if you unlock, for example, 3 versions, then you will be able to choose between all of them after the event is over, and during the event as well.
Perfect.
So yeah, every time when you earn enough event points to unlock the next stage, you basically just unlock the another option for this skin.
Sounds cool. Someone from the narrative team, or to the narrative team asked, is it possible to listen and read the lore at the same time, or can you only do one at a time?
As far as I know, you can, yes. The text stays there and the recordings play in the background, so you can do both at the same time.
Awesome, thank you. And also a question to you guys again. Will there be a way to keep the story in the game after the event, or after that they have to look like online, or?
Hello, Ghost of Bree here. So yeah, we will have the event stories online a little bit after, so please stay tuned.
Thank you, Bree. The Ghost of Bree. Thank you. Maybe to the weapon, guys. What is the effective distance of the new Romero Alamo?
It's the same as for the regular Romero. They are the same. because it's the same barrel length.
Yeah, so it's about 15.
Perfect, thank you. And does it also work with Iron Devastator or not? The trait.
No, it is not a pump action weapon, so to say.
Cool. If you guys also see a question, feel free to chip in anytime. That's also completely fine. Because I see that there's a lot, it's just a bit hard to read sometimes.
Yeah, there was a question popped up already twice about the Vulture trait, and will Vulture work with snake tokens on dead hunters? Well, I mean, Vulture trait works exactly the same, but the thing is that you can loot snakes from the dead hunters only once. So you basically pick up all the snakes from the body. So if you do that after someone already looted this hunter, you won't get snakes. I'm sorry. You still might get event points if you looted this hunter for the first time.
We're following the principle of first snake, first come.
Yep.
So I see a lot of people asking about new boss. As we mentioned many times before, obviously this is something we always are working on, but there's no new boss with this event. So you will have to learn about that later on when we are closer to it.
There's a question if the snakes are lost if you're burned out. I mean, you cannot loot a burned out hunter.
Well, yeah, you cannot loot burned out hunters. So basically, they are not gone though, because the hunter still can be revived using the Red Skull revive.
Red Skull, yeah.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to get them, so maybe just...
But you won't be able to get them.
Go easy with the burning if you want to ensure that you get those snakes.
So yeah, these snakes will stay with the body, and yeah, if hunter is revived, then he or she will be able to, yeah.
And please don't construct anything out of this that if you kind of like burn your teammates that they cannot like get their snakes stolen. We don't want any of that, please.
Yeah, so someone asked about the time of day. So will the nighttime will be changed to the new event time of day, or is it separate?
For the duration of the event, that's going to be the nighttime.
Thank you, awesome. Someone asked about how the custom ammo works on the Alamo, or we already mentioned that you cannot switch it, but
I mean, you can equip custom ammo in it, right? Like with any other weapon. So the custom ammo of the Romero family is available to be used. However, you can only equip one custom ammo type, like we do for all of the other multi-shot weapons, with a few exceptions, like the Britier. Just because it would be quite of a hassle to kind of unload the whole magazine then for you to like squeeze in the new rounds. So that's why we have this rule, like multi-shot weapons usually don't allow you to have more than one custom ammo type.
Perfect. So someone asked about a battle pass, the Gilded Path. Does it work retrospectively? So if you are, let's say you're level 10 already on the free path, if you unlock it, do you get everything?
Yes. So if you can complete, for example, the whole free progression and purchase the battle pass right after, and you will automatically unlock all the rewards from the premium progression as well. So you can do that at any point, and you will get all the rewards from the premium path. I mean, up to your level, obviously.
Sounds good. Some people ask when the event starts. So again, it's tomorrow. So that's again the 27th of July at 4 p.m. CEST, which is 2 p.m. UTC, and it will go on for 61 days, and then on the 26th of September at the same time. There's still a lot of questions. Maybe we answer a few more, and then if you guys still have a lot of pressing questions, we'll try to get back to you on social media as well. And maybe if you have a lot, we will make separate video addressing some of them. Someone asked about the extraction and event points. So what happens if you extract with double bounties? Is there any difference between double bounties or
Nope. So we want to, keep it also available for solos. So yeah, you will get only 20 points no matter how many bounties you have. So it's like either 1 or 4, for example, you will only get 20 event points.
Cool. I've seen people asking about event caps, point caps. There is no point caps for our past few events anymore, so there is no point caps of any sort. Technically, you could finish it on the first day, if you can. Those about asking about old legendary hunters coming back, like Billy's story. We already said Billy is coming back this year, so that you can expect, and we haven't said anything about others, so I cannot say anything just yet. Again, event points are shared between your teammates except snakes, but once the snakes are banished, the points from them are also shared. Any of you still see some questions that you would like to answer?
I'm looking. It's so fast.
Yeah, it's very fast.
It's so fast. Someone asked about my bike behind me. It's fixed gear. It's not a single speed. I mean, it's technically single speed.
I thought it was part of the
Not a free
wallpaper. There was a question whether like there was addressed at me whether I think the servers will hold up. I certainly hope so, but I'm very confident.
Well, to add to that, we did say that now we are able to scale our servers capacities for EU, US, as well as China. So, if there's a lot of players, we can increase the caps now on the go. Okay, I've seen something about do you have to buy the Gilded Path once per each chapter or just once? I think it's easy to answer that you only have to buy it once.
There was a question about the Alamo and the ammo capacity. So how that differs from the regular. And so the base Romero has like 1 round loaded and 12 extra, right? And the Alamo has 4 plus 1, since you can kind of like have 4 in the magazine, like the attached magazine, and one in the chamber, but you can have 5 extra rounds for that. And then if you were to put slugs in as your custom ammo type, you have like 4 plus 1 and then 3 extra.
Sounds good. So I've seen questions about the anti-camping mechanic, and as we said, that will come with the next bigger update as planned currently, but we just cannot share what it is, and but it will be very fun. So but it's obviously not in this event. The current gen update or next gen update, however you want to call it, is also something we are working on. When Twitch drops, we also said that there's gonna be Twitch drops this year, but we haven't announced a date for them yet. Yeah, actually, some people asked if there's gonna be a downtime for this, or they can just start playing right away at 4 p.m. Maybe Dennis or Anton.
It should be right away.
So no downtime. It will just turn into the event at 4. So.
That's the information I have. But that's how it was the last event. So I don't think there's any need to deploy any like quick update before. So it should be, everything should be ready.
Perfect,
Yep.
Perfect. How many snake puns has Dennis been making around the office?
Too many.
I'm trying to snake them in once in a while.
Oh no. I shouldn't have asked that. Yeah.
It's all about rattling the cages.
If you guys ever in a chat with Dennis, you will know how many puns he makes about snakes and everything else.
There was a question about to gain additional experience for event points after the end of the event, and yeah, I mentioned that during the stream. So we don't have this overflow feature like we had in the past, but instead of this, we have a Cherries Hunter system. So it's yeah, some kind of like a leaderboard where you basically can still progress in the event to get some rewards after the event is over. So it's like a little bit more challenging and competitive.
Someone has been asking about nighttime and whether the chances will be a little bit higher for the event. And I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe there is a slight increase in the chances, just so that you guys have a chance to also experience it in nighttime.
That's actually really cool. I'm happy. Anton, maybe a question for you, and not even related to the event, but I've seen, for some reason, many people asking how the black market resets, or when does it change the offers, maybe?
Cannot tell for now, but we will follow up on this topic, I hope soon.
Awesome, thank you.
I was asked the same in the stream recently, and I couldn't answer it. So it's like, yeah, this is a state secret. We can't talk about it because I don't know.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. I mean, that's just the honest answer then. And yeah, I just seen the most important question. Playable Bence Hunter one. Can we, please? After Dennis Hunter.
No, please don't. I already have the redneck, like it's modeled after my body shape. So.
Okay, but if you guys don't see any other questions that we have to answer right now, I think we answered a bunch. So
there's just one note from my side. So when the event goes live, just like the last times, when there's additional features being released with it, like you'll see an updated patch note as well, with some more information about like new weapons, etc. So if you want to see everything in written form, just make sure that you can check out the patch notes again from 1.9, because they should now have these additional things being edited.
Perfect. Thank you, Dennis. Anyone else with something that they've seen and want to address? Okay, silence, so I guess not. So then thank you, everyone. Bree, Paul, Dennis, Anton, Umut, thank you for joining today and talking to me. It was a lot of fun. And then see you all in the event as well. YouTube chat, it's tomorrow, don't forget. And yeah, have a great evening for now, and see you there tomorrow. And thank you, everyone.
Monsters. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great
See ya,
night.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Dried her tears these 4 years gone, on my grave the setting sun. Be still, my dear, don't cry, for soon you will be at his side. Dark as the night, its wings were red, spread across the sky. Dead. Be still, my dear, don't cry, for soon you will be at her side. Death